This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 12th day of April in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The month of April has not reached its midway point as yet, but Guyana has already recorded 940 new coronavirus cases and 24 deaths in the month so far. In the past 2 days alone, 5 deaths were recorded. In its latest report today, the Health Ministry revealed 40 new cases of COVID-19 and 2 new deaths in the past 24 hours. The number of active cases currently stands at 1,164, with most of those persons in home isolation. There are also 17 persons in the intensive care unit. The rapid increase in new cases is coming at a time when the Health Ministry is pleading with persons to get vaccinated. Health officials continue to encourage persons to get the vaccines, since being vaccinated could prevent them from becoming seriously ill from the virus.
We are trying to get as much people vaccinated as quickly as possible, and we are doing that by having fixed sites where people during the week they know where to go. So for example, here in Brickdam there's a fixed site that is constantly open. People can come here and get their vaccination. And then we have, in between those fixed sites that we have around the country, we also have mobile sites, or pop-up sites if you like, where organizations within the community, so whether it's religious or civic organizations who want to partner with the ministry, they would come in, they would make a request, we would work with them, set a date, set a time, get staff to go out, and we'll be able to do the vaccination in the community.
Over 60,000 persons have already been vaccinated, and the Health Ministry is hoping to see many more vaccinated in the coming weeks. The Health Ministry intends to continue stepping up its vaccination drive. Today, another 30,000 doses of the Sputnik COVID-19 vaccine arrived in the country. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people, we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
All the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
At Soch Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Soch Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
It's trendy to share your vacation plans, photos, and location on social media. But do you know who is seeing your posts? Sharing that you're on vacation or business can signal to potential burglars that your home is empty. Using location services can also allow people to track your whereabouts, making you an easy target for theft. Be aware of what information you share about your location and your possessions. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
You taste the cheese, you hear the crunch. Grab a zoomers and zoom into fun. And with the first taste, you feel like you don't want it done. Blast off to a whole new place with every single bite. The cheesy goodness bring your taste buds alive. So let's just zoom into fun with this wheel-shaped light. Zoomers, zoomers, zoom into fun.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways. Knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Welcome back. The Guyana Civil Defense Commission has announced that the first shipment of relief items for St. Vincent will leave Port Georgetown tomorrow. The CDC and the Private Sector Commission have been working closely together and in partnership with the government in organizing Guyana's relief efforts for the sister CARICOM state. Director General of the Civil Defense Commission, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, told News Source today that the vessel has already been acquired by the CDC to make the 3-day trip with the relief supplies to St. Vincent. He explained that the vessel has a capacity to ferry 300 tons, and so far quantities of rice, sugar, other food items and sanitary supplies have already been received and are being loaded.
The vessel is docked and loading has commenced. We have the commitment by the private sector, and supplies are already started to be delivered at the CDC and also at the wharf to meet that 300-ton capacity, because the vessel is controlled by the government in terms of when it leaves and when it gets there. So you have the entire vessel to work with.
The CDC has said a number of local companies have come forward with donations of much needed items that will make up the shipment. According to Lieutenant Colonel Craig, based on the situation on the ground in St. Vincent, additional help will have to be provided. He said Guyana's humanitarian efforts to assist the country will continue after the shipment leaves, since additional shipments in the future are likely.
What we've seen now, especially what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is that there's going to be a little medium-term response. Not a 1 week, 2 weeks, but go on for weeks. So the first phase of response is to ensure people there's food and shelter and there's safety, and the safety are taken care of. So the initial list that we received focused particularly on food, water, safety equipment, sanitation items. So we are working together. As the situation changes, additional requests will be provided, and then we'll work to see how we can support those requests that will be provided by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Over the weekend, President Irfan Ali met with the CDC and the Private Sector Commission to streamline Guyana's response to the tragedy in St. Vincent. The President has pledged his continuous support to the relief drive. There are more than 4,000 Guyanese living in the island as it faces that volcano eruption. 7 commissioners of the Local Government Commission were sworn in today by President Irfan Ali. 3 of the commissioners, former Region 4 Chairman Clement Corlett, Joanne Ramasindo, and Nicola Trotman, were nominated by the APNU AFC, while the others, former Town Clerk of Georgetown Carol Suba, Clinton Collymore, Norman Whitaker, Julius Faber, and Carville Duncan, were nominated by the government. In brief remarks, President Irfan Ali pledged to support the work of the Commission, noting that his government is crafting policies to enhance local development, since the country is at a decisive stage of its economic progression.
I assure you of the support of my administration and give you my personal guarantee that no attempt to interfere or at interference with the discharge of your function specified under the Constitution and the Local Government Commission Act will be tolerated.
The president also said it is the intention of his administration to ensure that the country's forthcoming development is balanced and, more importantly, safeguarded at all levels of the society.
Guyana is indeed at a decisive stage of its economic development. Its economy is on an upward trajectory. The country is already the fastest growing economy in the Western Hemisphere. Guyana's continuous economic development over the next decade is expected to result in economic and social transformation. But importantly, economic and social transformation at all levels of our society, of which local government organs and local governance plays a critical part in ensuring that that transformation is administered effectively and efficiently.
President Ali congratulated the new commissioners and assured them of his administration's full support in the discharge of their functions. The University of Guyana will be making it easier for its lecturers and students with the launching of 18 Zoom classrooms that will also cater for students of the Institute of Distant and Continuing Education. The gift is part of an initiative under the ExxonMobil company. The rooms are already up and running at the Tain campus in Berbice, IDC Center in Linden, and the Turkine campus and other locations. According to the director of UG's Tactical Online Services, Malcolm Williams, the Zoom rooms are specially enabled rooms from which live classes can be viewed in an interactive way by multiple participants in multiple remote locations. The university's Chancellor Edward Green has expressed satisfaction at the initiative and praised the University of Guyana team for pulling off what he termed a complex project. The project was spearheaded by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Paloma Mohammed, and the senior management team. The Interim Management Committee, headed by former Lands Commissioner Trevor Benn, will now form the new management of the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, after winning the confidence of the membership in elections yesterday. The previous management committee was ousted over financial management concerns. Following the results of the elections last evening, Mr. Benn said his team is ready to get down to work to implement the promises they made while campaigning for leadership.
And like we said, beginning next Monday, the 19th of April, we hope to start paying all dividends. So for those of you who are asking that question, please be aware that you can visit the office on the 19th of April to begin receiving your dividends.
While serving as interim chairman of the credit union, Ben implemented a number of measures that have benefited both the staff and members of the credit union. The credit union was able to remain profitable even during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic. The credit union recorded $95 million in profit last year. It was also reported during yesterday's meeting that active membership also grew from 11,000 in 2011 to 18,000 last year. Total assets were $2.3 million in 2011, and that also increased to $5.5 billion last year. As Suriname steps up its efforts to fight coronavirus, the Guyanese authorities have been informed that all travelers to Suriname will now have to be quarantined in a government-approved facility for 7 days upon their arrival in the neighboring country. The arriving passengers will also have to stand the cost of their 7-day quarantine at a hotel. In addition to being quarantined for 7 days upon arrival, the travelers must also have a negative COVID-19 PCR test result before traveling to Suriname. That test result must be 72 hours old. Suriname has recorded more than 9,000 COVID-19 cases in the past year, with more than 175 deaths. The ferry crossing between Guyana and Suriname was closed for several months, but was recently reopened with a PCR test requirement in place. The new quarantine requirement took effect today.
More employers are using social media to monitor employees. Here are some ways to maintain professionalism online. Never share confidential information about anyone, whether colleagues or clients. Do not share inappropriate posts from work gatherings. Keep company social media posts neutral. Never argue or make offensive comments. Never complain about your job to clients. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Vincent is likely to see further volcanic eruptions and ashfall over the coming days, experts have warned. The Soch volcano first erupted on Friday, blanketing the island in a layer of ash and forcing more than 16,000 people to evacuate their homes. Smaller explosions continued over the weekend, causing power cuts and disrupting water supplies. Emergency officials have described the landscape as a battle zone.
Folks, we will see you. We will see you on the south side by God's grace. There you go, boy.
You come again?
Yeah. You not hear what there?
What you say? Come on. Yeah.
White-colored dust has covered buildings and roads around the island, including in its capital, Kingston. The warning to expect further activity at this volcano followed what officials described as an explosive event on Sunday. The warning to expect further activity at the volcano followed what officials described as an explosive event on Sunday. In Latin America, a conservative former banker, Guillermo Lasso, has won Ecuador's presidential election following a runoff vote. His opponent, the left-wing economist Andres Aruz, conceded defeat hours after polls closed yesterday. With almost all the ballots counted, Mr. Lasso had won 52.4% of the vote, compared to his competitor's 47.6%. Mr. Lasso, a 65-year-old three-time presidential candidate, told supporters he accepted the challenge of changing the country's destiny. He says a day on which all Ecuadorians have decided their future. Mr. Lasso's rivals, Andres Aruz, congratulated the winner and said he will show him his support and democratic convictions. And finally tonight, international news. In the U.S., the fatal shooting of a black man by a police officer in the U.S. city of Brooklyn Center was an accident, the local police chief has said. 20-year-old Dante Wright was shot after the officer meant to use a taser, but mistakenly drew her gun instead, the chief of the police force has told reporters. Mr. Wright's death has sparked angry protests and an overnight curfew. Tensions in nearby Minneapolis are high as the trial of an ex-police officer accused of killing George Floyd continues. In a courtroom just 10 miles from the latest unrest proceedings resumed today. 20-year-old Dante Wright was pulled over on Sunday for a traffic violation, but there was a struggle when he tried to get back into his car. At a news conference this morning, the chief of police played a short video from the body camera worn by the policewoman, which shows Mr. Wright trying to get back into his car as officers attempted to handcuff him on the side of the road. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Stay safe